If you would have told me this morning when I woke up that we'd have positions 13 through 33 for the Indy 500 set at the end of qualifying day one today, I probably would have taken it. And that's exactly where we finished up, despite a couple different rain delays, some lightning, even starting qualifying a little bit earlier today. We got to where we needed to get to at the end of the day. Spots 13 through 33 are now locked in for the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500, with spots 1 through 12 to be decided tomorrow on Sunday through runs of the Fast 12 and the Fast 6. We'll get into all of it right here, but we started the day off with some record-setting speeds, set the tone, you might say, for how this day would unfold. We had two 30-minute practice sessions that each half of today's qualifying field was allowed to partake in. So spots 1 through 16 participated in the first one, 17 through 33 in the second one, and 3 different drivers set top 15 practice times in Indianapolis 500 history. Leading those was Ed Carpenter, who went off in the second group. His lap puts him as the 8th fastest driver in Indy 500 history in terms of best practice speeds. Scott Dixon turned one that put him 13th, and Jimmy Johnson 14th. And as we got into qualifying runs on Saturday morning, just after 11 o'clock, both Pato O'Ward, who went off first, and Rinus VeeKay, who went off second, turned in 2 of the 5 fastest 4-lap qualifying runs that we've seen in Indy 500 history. And as the day went on, they would not be topped. Ultimately, Rinus held on to that top spot with a 4-lap run of 233.655 miles an hour. He was followed by Pato's run of 233.035. Those are good enough for 3rd and 5th best, respectively, in Indy 500 history. They're followed by Felix Rosenqvist, 232.775, 7th best in 500 history. Palou, 232.774, 8th best in 500 history. And Tony Kanaan at 232.625, 10th best in the greatest spectacle in racing. Those were your top 5 today. After all of our qualifying runs were settled, they will be joined in tomorrow's Fast 12, which starts at 4 p.m. on NBC, by Jimmy Johnson, Ed Carpenter, Marcus Ericsson, Romain Grosjean, Scott Dixon, Will Power, and Takuma Sato. We talked to several drivers, first of which being Jimmy Johnson, and he was asked about how the pressure on track and off track of qualifying for the Daytona 500 compares to what he underwent today for the first time. Had some really interesting thoughts. Take a listen.
The lap itself, there's really not a comparison. This is so much more intense. I mean, plus you have 4 of them. You got to run not just one. But the process, the 2 weeks of being in Daytona, trimming the car out, the team really working their magic, worrying about temps, worrying about aero efficiency. There are a lot of parallels, but there is much more on the driver here than what happens in Daytona 500 qualifying.
In Takuma Sato's second qualifying run of the day on Saturday, where he ultimately hopped into the Fast 12, knocking off his Dale Coyne Racing teammate David Malukas, Sato had a little bit of a run-in with a wall. He slapped his right rear tire coming, I believe, out of turn 2. It was a little bit similar to what we saw Will Power do in last year's Last Chance qualifier, along with what Jimmy Johnson did on Fast Friday. Ultimately, like those two, he kept his car running and amazingly was able to keep going without seemingly losing a whole lot or maybe even any speed. Here he talks after that qualifying run about what that sensation was like, how he was able to keep the car straight on the track, and eventually work his way into the Fast 12, where he will now have a chance to run for pole on Sunday.
When I rushed the wall, there's two choices, whether go flat or not. And as I said, it's qualified. I decided to go flat, and then and basically rest of it was saved me for the in a bubble, but it was in P12. So all in all, I think he was happy.
Today's big winner, of course, Rinus VK. As we mentioned earlier, he ran the third fastest Indy 500 qualifying run in this race's history. Unfortunately, he has to do that twice again on Sunday if he hopes to hold on to that top spot. And that's where some of the excitement will come for fans who are in attendance at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Sunday. Again, from 4 to 6, Rinus, if he makes it into that Fast 6, and 5 others will have to make 2 more qualifying runs as they vie for these top couple spots on the first 4 rows on the grid. Rinus, who was last year started on the front row, he became the youngest front row starter in this race's history. Talks a little bit after his qualifying run today about what some of that pressure is going to be like on Sunday, what it's going to be like having to do this 2 more times if he wants to start on pole.
Pole position is all we have to go for tomorrow. For me, whatever the car is going to do, I'm going to stay flat for 4 laps. And just got to be the fastest guy out there. And I think there's still some time to extract out of the car. So, really showing this pace, being over half a mile an hour faster than anyone else over 4 laps, I think, it's definitely possible. And it's not going to be easy with having the same conditions for everyone, or basically the same conditions, same for everyone. But I think we can definitely do it. We have the Chevy power has been very, very good this month, and I think the ECR always builds a very good qualifying car. So I'm not worried at all.
Action gets started on Sunday afternoon at 12:30. We have a 90-minute practice for the 12 drivers who made it into the Fast 12. We'll have to see if they take a go at things. I could understand it going both ways. We have, for example, 2 cars from Air McLaren SP. They both opted not to run in this morning's practice, and they did pretty well. Maybe they decide that these conditions that we'll be running in during this practice from 12:30 to 2 will be similar enough to what we'll see from 4 to 6 that they opt to go out there. We will have to see. Certainly will be very exciting to see who is and who's not out there. I would imagine the guys that are not probably have to be pretty comfortable with their cars and their setup as we head into the Fast 12 on Sunday afternoon. Of course, we've got all of the qualifying action covered with a variety of different stories on IndyStar.com. Be sure to check those out. And if you are at the track, if you're at home, if you're in transit, be sure to follow me on Twitter at @by_Nathan Brown. I'll be tweeting all of the live updates from the track tomorrow. And be sure to tune in tomorrow evening for another edition of Pit Pass Live. Thanks for listening. I'm Nathan Brown with IndyStar.